I was very excited and interested to get involved. I work in the justice system as an advocate, and so I wanted to help and experience the other side. And so, yeah, I had volunteered to become a mentor through that.
And I became interested when I was approaching retirement. I'm a retired theology teacher after 46 years. And I began my college career in Leavenworth, Kansas, working in the women's prison, directing a prisoner choir during Mass. And it was right after Vatican II. And I loved that work for 4 years. And a friend of mine, Clarence Schallbetter, told me about this program was starting. So I got involved with writing the program and then heard about the mentor program and decided through discernment that I wanted to try to become a mentor and see where that would lead me.
For me, initially, I was released from prison in 2021 into the community. I originally went home to East Grand Forks, Minnesota, and I knew that my life wasn't going to make a healthy future over there, so I decided to relocate to Minneapolis. And in Minneapolis, I had come in contact with my parole, and I had weekly visits with my parole agent, and I internally was just wanting to engage myself with a programming that consisted of spirituality, and I just had asked my parole agent if he had any type of resources or any type of programming that I could be interested in. And then I believe it was like the following week that I asked him that miraculously the program was introduced to the DOC in Hennepin County, and then from there I applied and I was accepted.
I've been a parole officer since 2016, so a good amount of time. I supervised Felicia, during the our office is always open to any kind of community support program related to mentorships, sobriety support, anything you can that would affect someone obviously on parole. And I would comment too, it was interesting how it worked out with her, because we had a meeting. She's explaining she wants a little more community support. A lot of her family was not in the area. And then about a couple days later at our next unit meeting later that week, we had people from Basilica St. Mary come in, tell us about their mentorship program they were introducing. And I'm sitting in the middle of the meeting, and it's like all the light bulbs are going off at once, like, okay, well, I need to kind of get this over, because this is exactly what she has just expressed the need for. And yeah, the ball kind of rolled in a very, very, very good direction for her after that point.
So when I initially first met with Sam and Patrice, I didn't know whom I was going to be meeting, so that clearly was nervous for me. I didn't live very far, maybe a few blocks, but I managed to still be late, But our first meeting was held here at the Basilica, and then I was nervous, but I just naturally am very transparent and outgoing. So it went very well, and I don't think that, honestly, I don't feel like I was uncomfortable at all. So I feel like it was just naturally just we flowed, and it was cool, just the introduction and stuff like that. I felt it accepted and welcomed, and I really liked that for my first meeting with them.
And I would want to add to that too, that any kind of community program of any kind, that's a very big, in my line of work, a very big thing. Everyone going into any kind of program, normally the people that go into a program that I work with on parole, it usually is anger management or drug treatment. Typically, those are the two popular ones, and there are a lot of group setting based programs. Everyone comes in with that uncomfortability, and that I don't know if saying that they kind of just close into themselves, but I would imagine a mentorship program too, it's the same way, and to have a very welcoming environment for that really goes a long way. And that's something I've noticed with other people that I've had in this. It's a big factor in it.
Definitely.
Yeah, I would say I was also nervous because I was like, what if she doesn't like me? We didn't know much about what was happening. Yeah, you were great. You came right in and you were so open right away, which is not always the case, and that's okay, but that made connecting with you, and you could tell right away that you had a big heart, and that made it all really easy. And so, yeah, we came away from that first meeting, and you had goals right away, which was really, really great to see.
I wondered, will this work, and how will I be able to relate to you? And the second I met you, I knew I could. You had such a willingness that you were determined that you were going to do life better. And you, like Sam said, you had goals, and you were determined, and you had such care and compassion and determination that you would not walk back into prison. And I was in awe of that. And I thought, if Felicia can do it, then I am going to walk with you.
So like I said, initially, I didn't know where it was going, how it was going to go, or how I was going to navigate through the program. But I would say, there's so many helpful things that just, when I initially came here to Minneapolis and changed my stomping grounds, as I like to say, just because of what my background was, the history of it, I needed a clean change. So that was an entire help. And just having the program here was nice to weekly, or monthly meet with my mentors, because it gave me something to look forward to, something to as Patrice likes to say, I like to use the ladies as a soundboard. I like to tell them what's going on and just process through those things. And I think that overall, just having my mentors available to me, honestly, at any time, I wouldn't take advantage of that or anything like that, but they were definitely available for me. And I think that was the most helpful for me transitioning into the community and making the changes that I needed to, was to have someone available as my mentors for me.
As a whole, a lot of people on parole, whether they're coming from the situation that you came from, with having to make a big decision to move away and create a boundary with some of your family. As a whole, some people come out into the community, they don't have family support, they don't have positive friend support, or maybe the support they have, unfortunate as it is to say, the support that they have isn't exactly the best support. And maybe a lot of the things that the mentorship thing can help you look towards, whether it be a career goal, a sobriety goal, whatever you're looking to move for yourself with that, I guess. When you don't have the support in the community to help you with that, or maybe there's just a lack of knowledge of how to go through something like building up a career, or going to school, or just keeping it all together mentally, is a loose way to put it, but that this program really helps fill that void, so to speak, that other people in the community that you can connect with, no judgment either, and that if you're looking, they can help you towards one of the goals that you have with that.
Building the relationship between my two mentors here was amazing, and I just remember going through life every day, 1 hour at a time, a day at a time, a week at a time, because that's real, and that's what you go through when you're transitioning from an old lifestyle to a new lifestyle. And for me, it was dreams, and it's amazing how many dreams have come true, one after the other. But I think building a relationship with my two mentors, and we didn't know where it was going to go or how it was going to go, but it just flourished into something natural and helpful. And I think that I I'm very thankful for the program, because I think that if I didn't initiate the program and stick through it, like, I feel like I would have been not, I wouldn't have been in tune with myself. So with the lady's help of just like being able to call him, like, oh my gosh, you guys will not believe what is happening to me right now, and like on another average day, if that particular thing would have happened to me, like in my past, I probably would have returned to poor decisions. But since I had someone there for me that I knew and felt comfortable, you know, expressing such thing that happened or may have happened to me or going through, and having positive feedback and just being able to like not jump ship right away, it was amazing to be able to feel those things and walk through my emotions, which I think that I wasn't great at doing initially, but just feeling comfortable has really gotten me to just like really navigate myself healthily through the world. So very appreciative.
Yeah, I have for sure seen that you have gotten much more comfortable with your emotions and trying to navigate them and taking it one step at a time. I also think the program does a good job of setting up the mentors for success and it being able to help by having a team. That's really helpful, right? I think we both have very different strengths, and you would pull on the different strengths as you should, right? And also the resources that the program was able to provide, but also just the guidance for mentors on how to walk with someone when they are going through such a big transition that neither of us have been through. And being able to just look at that and be like, okay, this is today's moment that we're going to get through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
And that guidance, what I was saying earlier, that's a good way to put it. Even if what you're providing is just guidance, sometimes that's really all someone needs if they're trying to work whatever goal it may be. If they don't have the experience to lean on of how to accomplish what they're trying to do, just even that guidance alone can be monumental, and helps keep people accountable too when they're in a very serious situation like being on parole. Yeah.
And maybe it's also to help you trust your gut.
Yeah.
What is your gut truly saying? And the other value of having a partnership with us, Sam came with some really unique, wonderful resources that I didn't have. And maybe I came with some more lived experiences and had another way of saying that. And there were many times that I said to you, okay, let's first begin by breathing and counting. And now let's look at it. And what's the worst thing that could happen? And it didn't seem so worse, quote unquote. And those were real valuable things, which frankly, when we began this program, I didn't know that value. And I am forever grateful for Sam for being on the other side. And but I give you the credit. One thing I never expected in this relationship is the love I feel for you. I truly feel for you. And that part is, that's an unexpected delight.
Being partnered with you guys in the program, and then like just being like, wow, there are real, genuine, caring people available to be there for me, and that like they have like no ties to me, and just wow, they're here for me, they're not leaving me, they're making me feel comfortable, they're filling me with resources, you know, they're listening to me, they're also asking me what I need. I mean, how better could get to have like a relationship with someone that like feels for you as a person and individual. And then yeah, from there you do build relationships. And like it's funny, like because when I come into like a problematic area in my life or something, I'm like, do I call Patrice or do I call Sam or do we call them both, you know? And that has worked for me, you know. And or like if I text Sam or I text you, you know, I'm very grateful for you guys, and I honestly just can't. I do not know where my life would be if I hadn't initiated in this program, because You guys are well aware, like, it wasn't easy transitioning, especially coming to Minneapolis, and I'm from the fields, you know? So it's like, this is new, like, completely new for me, and then just being able to, like, have you guys walk through it with me and, like, my goals and setting the short-term and long-term, and then, I mean, it's different, you know, like, I have a whole different view of you guys, and then you guys have a completely different view of me. You know, you guys get to see all those things that I've done, and then I have slowly gotten to know you guys a little personally, you know, and your lives and stuff like that. So it's just like, wow, like, you guys are my family. This is not, it's a program for me. Like, the whole program is my family. That's the way. And, like, I think, like, if you guys have given me that you guys can give that to other people, and that alone is amazing for someone else to have the feelings that I had transitioning and stuff like that. And I can only imagine how many people can prosper and actually make their lives go in the path that they want it to go. Like, there's not something that can stand in their way if they want to make it happen.
Well, in all my teaching, I taught about Sister Helen Prejean. They call, or she's referred to as the death penalty nun. But her quote is that we should never be judged by the worst thing we've ever done. And I too am human, and I too am a sinner. And I often applied that when I would think of you, that you have served your time for what you have done. And that's a non-issue. And when I've heard you speak at other occasions in this ministry, and you talked about how there were times in your serving time in prison that you weren't on board, and I thought, wow, I've never known that person, and I'm thinking, I've been really honored to see this side of you, and I'm thinking, you truly have worked so hard, and that it makes me want to work even harder to listen intently and to be very mindful of what it is that you're struggling with, and to try to step next to you. I could never be in your shoes, but I want to step next to you and be with you.
Yeah. I agree. Like, I mean, you guys know, we're not keeping count or anything, but life happens. So there have been a lot of things that I've had to call you guys, and I'm like freaking out. Like, what am I going to do? Where does we go from here? Like, is this the end? Like, am I going to continue being positive? You know? I think those are never really my fears, because I'm pretty strong, you know, and I've gotten those things down for myself. But just even having that little lapse of, like, thought process, like, oh, this, like, what am I gonna do? The worries, you know, and then like being, and then like being able to like revert back to like obviously my spirituality, because that's what I want, is the centeredness with like me. That's the reason I wanted to come into the program as well, is to have my relationship with God, because that's my belief, become stronger. And I think with you ladies too, like, it was never pressed, you know, but you guys know that that's where I'm at. So it was always helpful to like have conversations and like just kind of like lean on not our own understanding, you know, because that gets us in trouble, and like, you know, not necessarily in trouble, but just like thoughts in your mind that like aren't good, and they're like they're not going to lead you anywhere positive. So it's like, keep your positive thoughts, you know. And I think that's been a real good journey with you guys, like just always being able to, when I call you and I'm like, freaking out, you know, and you guys are just able to like reel me back in, you know, and now I'm able to do that myself more than anything, you know. But can you remember when I couldn't, you know? So I think that's such good growth, and like to be able to see that within myself is like a huge thing, because I think we are our own biggest critics, you know. So a lot of the times when I do speak with you ladies, and more or less Patrice always does, like she always has to remind me, you as well, on multiple occasions, to remind me, like, look at what you've done, how far you've come, you know, don't be too down on yourself, too hard on yourself. And I think that's one of the biggest things that, I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like people or less that come from a past like me. I think that's so easy to do.
What Felicia has taught me is to do more pausing and listening to that inner voice, and to ask God to be with me, because that is my faith tradition. Ask God to give me voice, and to I want to be very sensitive and aware and conscious of this relationship, and to be very careful and honor how sacred this is, and know that silence sometimes is the best response. But most importantly, to let you know how much I do care about you. So I think I've appreciated those pauses. And then the times when we go and I don't hear from you, or we're not in communication, is how often I hold you in prayer and just want absolutely the very best for you, and think about you. And I feel very content about that, and grateful that you've entered my life. So it's not that I'm surprised, but I'm honored to call you daughter and call you friend and your children, and just that relationship.
I think as a mentor, I mean, I've gained a lot. I think holistically, I've gained a view of really fighting against my own prejudice and biases that I have, right? And you are a first-hand account of someone who does not fit the mold of what we see in society as a prisoner.
Right.
I think that has been something that I hold and I think about a lot in my life and in my work. But also, I mean, I am your mentor, sure, but I'm also younger than you. And so I think it's been helpful for me to look and be like, yeah, I can do all the things I put my mind to if I do it, because you've done it. You have done it all. And you've done it with a family, and you've done it with all of the things going on. And so I think that has been very inspiring to me, to be like, you can do it all. You can put your mind to something and just one foot in front of the other, and you're really good at that, and I really admire that.
One of my favorite memories I have was one time we talked in the morning, and this is before you got Raymond back. And Raymond was up in, where was he living? Up north somewhere.
Yeah.
And he was at the bus stop, and you had been outside, and you saw the sun in the morning dancing, and it was just kind of sparkling, and it was in the fall. And Raymond, so you decided to call Raymond, and Raymond was at the bus stop, and he talked about the sun sparkling and dancing, and something like, that's God. And I said, absolutely, that's God. And that how you were both in sync, and how excited you were. And I thought, you're on sacred ground. And this is when you were talking to both Sam and I couldn't fathom how one of your goals was to get your wonderful son back, how that would happen. Sam knew that this could happen, or she at least presented that. And I, in my unknowing, thought, if Sam says yes, then it's going to happen. But it was like magic. And I thought, it's got to happen, because they both witnessed the sun sparkling and dancing at the same time. And I thought, yeah, God is there.
God is good.
God is good.
He is amazing.
Yeah.
It's also really rewarding in my line of work to see someone come through who come to terms with some of the things in your past, decisions you've made in the past, that you weren't okay with it, that you wanted to move on from it, and do so for the betterment of yourself, your family, your kids. and then to see you make decisions afterwards too, that helps you get a career set up.
Yeah.
Helps you get a more stable environment for your family and a living situation. It's really rewarding to see when someone does that and has some challenges in front of them, whether you want to call them barriers or any other word you want to use. There's still things that you have to address, you got to be accountable for, and to step, like you said earlier in the thing, how you were happy that you committed to this. Had you not, you probably would have felt you were in a very stuck place that runs the risk. Are you going to resort back to things that you may know are not the best choice, but it's what you're comfortable with because you know what to expect from it, versus you making the decision not to do that, sticking with this, developing obviously great relationships, as we've been hearing.
Definitely.
So yeah, it's rewarding to see someone do that in this line of work.
Yeah, I think one of the most rewarding things for me, like that you mentioned Raymond right now. He's 16 now. He just had a birthday on Thursday, and he's about to start driving. So watch out.
We'll stay off the sidewalk.
But I do remember specifically having my Zoom meeting with court when I had gotten custody back of Raymond. And it so happened to be my sentencing judge who granted me back the custody of my son.
Small world.
Yeah. So when the proceeding was finished, he just told me, like, it's awesome to see you back in my courtroom, but on a different good note, Yeah. So I was just like, that had felt so good to me inside when that accomplishment and dream had come true for me, and then being able to let you ladies know about it, and then Raymond coming home to live again. So that was really cool, and that's cool that you remember that. So definitely, those are things to God's divine acts. That's what I believe they are, for sure.
That was like kind of the first decision, wasn't it? Or first goal, I think.
Yeah.
Because he had just left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was different. It was hard, The challenges are real, but I got through them, and now it's like, oh.
Yeah, and you know what? You've raised a very kind young man.
Yeah.
He always is very kind when he comes, so you should be proud of him too.
I'm very proud of my baby boy, yeah. He's not a baby anymore, but
one thing that I would want someone coming into the program as a mentor to know would be that you're going to come in having your ideas of how you think the experience is going to go, or the way you want the experience to go, and to just let that exist, and also understand that none of it is going to be how you are going to imagine it to be, and that is also wonderful and a beautiful part of this journey. Just come into it with an open mind.
When I think of a mentor coming in and would give something piece of advice for them to expect, I would say the person they're going to meet with is probably going to read the situation a bit, because there's a lot of unknown, a lot of the situations they've been in when because ultimately at the end of the day, I'm going to be the one making a referral with them to it, most likely. And in their situation, anytime they are referred to a program by a supervising PO, it's just that in their head. My PO is referred me to a program, and they're on board. Obviously, it's not like a mandatory thing, but there's still that sense in the back of their mind, and to understand that there's going to be a little bit of a I don't know if awkward silence at first is the right word, but a little bit of trust building in the beginning.
I think what I have to realize with every new relationship is that, first of all, they're not a Felicia. And second of all, to love and care about it, love in the way of that I do care about them, and I want the very best for them, and to take them exactly where they are, and do a lot of praying that we just move forward one step at a time, and that every step is encouraged, and that I care a great deal about them.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. Like, I am the mentee. However, I have had my own situations where I've been able to like mentor like my friends or siblings or whatever, in that sense, because you guys have given me that strength to feel that I can provide them with, you know, the resources that I once took, and it works. So, you know, and you know, I always thought like, they always tell you like in a programming, I guess they say, you know, you got to change your whole life, and they were not lying, because I had to change my whole life, you know. But I think like Chris mentioned, you know, like I initially went into the program, our first meeting, and you kind of think like, am I gonna get judged? Is this more like on like you know, this is from my parole, you know, like I have to do this, feel mandatory type. But I never felt that way. And good thing for you guys, I did a lot of talking because I talk a lot, you know, so it's not like you guys had to like pry and be like, what's your problem? What do you want to fix? You know, or, you know, something like that, just to help you guys open up your minds to who I am. So I think that was helpful for me. But I think like if you had someone that was like maybe opposite of me or something like that, just like what you guys said, like how you guys would handle it, I mean, that's the best thing you could do, is just like listen to them and just let them talk. Like I freely always talk, because that's the way you guys learned from me, what I wanted, what I desired, where my problem areas were. And yeah, it's exciting. I wonder how your guys' new mentees go. Yeah.
Yeah, and it does go both ways too. It's very good that you were open with
Mhm.
that, because while there is also, while someone's going in having that, am I going to be judged, at, you know, trust building stuff, it does go both ways, that the person,
Yeah.
the mentee, I guess.
Because had I felt uncomfortable that first meeting, I probably maybe would never met with you again.
Right.
Honestly, you know, in that state of life I was in, you know, that time frame.
And you still took it upon yourself too, because it goes back to that you need to give something, you know, in
Yeah.
order for it to work. You were willing to be open. You were willing
Put
to
the
make
work.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And in,
Literally, I owe a lot of my sanity, and I have a lot of gratitude towards this program, towards my mentors, lots of love, thanksgiving for them. For someone that's looking to join the program, I think that this is the way to go. You know, if this is something that you feel that you would like to get into, like I had mentioned to Chris when I was earlier returning into the community and integrating into my community, I didn't know what I wanted or what I needed, but I felt something calling. And I feel like if you have that calling, to not be afraid to ask and reach out about programs, and if you really want the referral into the program, I think that they would be making the right step to that, because clearly you're not just going to enter into a program if you don't have the intentions to be in a program, if you don't feel the need to have the setting of the program. And honestly, like, today is the day that we're speaking about it, but I feel like if I was to sit down with someone new and let them know, because there's so many missing key things that, like, I could talk all day about the amazing things that we've done and I felt from this program, and I can't really just give anything out there, because, like, for me it was just like a huge, amazing blessing for me to be in this program. And I think there are a lot of good things that can come if the person is willing to receive them, and that's just what I can say. I can name a list of things like, you know, you guys have helped me with resources and coping and things in the community that I could interact with, just with you ladies interacting and calling, having someone to speak with, not feeling alone. Being able to reach out to others, not just you. There's a big community within the church itself, within the program. If I had felt the need to call Chris about anything or be like, hey, do you remember when, or something, I would feel comfortable with that, because I've worked myself into a position to where I am okay with who I am today, and I feel like that you all, you know, the program is meant to change someone into a betterness. So I don't know. It's hard to explain. There's too much good stuff, you know. I just feel like I'm missing way too much.
yeah. What people can expect when they come in, it's it's a pretty wide open door. You know, it's, I guess it depends on your situation, what you're looking to get out of it. As long as you're willing to put the effort in and work on yourself, and yeah, it's pretty wide open.
Yeah, I think my thoughts for a returning neighbor would be, there's no right way to do the program. There's no one way to do this program. We are here to meet you where you are at, and that continues the whole length of the time that you're in the program. We aren't here to push a certain agenda or have you go a certain direction. We're here to find the direction you want to go and help you walk through that direction.
That's a phrase I've heard quite a bit too. Meet you where, like, when we first got info on the program, I think that was one of the first things in the little brochure we had was, we want to meet you where you at and grow from there. Just adding on to you said.
I think honesty plays a big part, at least as honest as you can be.
Because I've told you guys some things that I was like, "Arr," you know, it's your life, man.
You did, but you also did that on your terms, right? You were honest at the beginning,
And
but
it didn't
the honesty
make you-
grew, the
Yeah.
trust grew.
Yeah, and it didn't surprise me, it didn't shock me, it didn't make me want to run away. It just said, hey, this is who I am, and I'm real. And the other reality is what I found, and you were open to, you can't do this alone.
Yeah.
And what I know about myself, I can't do this alone either. I mean, the reality is, I need you as much as you need me.
I think it's your famous saying, it takes a village.
Yeah, it does.
Continue to keep raising the standard for yourself. You know, you said earlier you can be your biggest critic. That's not always bad. I mean,
Yeah.
in order to
That's
improve,
true.
you got to be willing to acknowledge maybe things you're not doing well that you need to improve on. At the same time, like with what it sounds like you say it quite a bit to her, be realistic of the context, the forest through the trees, so to speak, but still find a way to raise the standard for yourself and continue to grow.
Yep.
'Cause you've done a very good job up until now. So, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I'd like to think it was because it was my amazing
Yeah.
job.
It definitely was though, because like that's the day that I won't forget. You know, is
It was very odd how that worked out.
Yeah.
I will say, like 2-3 days later, we get the meeting back. Like,
Yeah,
it was
no,
like a
I
last
honestly
second
think it,
add-on
yeah,
to our
I think
meeting.
it was we met on Friday, so you met me on a Friday. I mentioned it to you, and then I think it was Monday that you're like, well, this is strange, and you know, we're not meeting yet, but I have this application
it.
or whatever, and then I think Friday, I don't know if I went into the office or you brought it out and we filled out, or I think maybe you just filled it out for me.
I don't really remember that. I think we filled it out over the phone, but I needed you
Yeah.
to sign it.
Something, and then
We met at some point after.
yeah, and it
after-
wasn't very long that I met with you ladies, and yeah, it was wild. That's crazy. God, it really works when the timing's right, you know?
Yeah, stars aligned on that one.
Yeah, it definitely did.
And I think when we were out at somewhere, some restaurant, sitting outside, we met Carlos, and Carlos said, oh, she's the old one, and she's the young one, or the wise one and the young one, or something like that. And I thought, okay, we'll do that.
Yeah, Panera. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember. Yeah, I think one of the things too for me, and I'll share this, is that like obviously like I have a significant other, and I speak with him about Patrice and Sam, and there's been multiple occasions like where I talk with him, you know, and I'm just baffled, you know, in a good way, in an emotional way, of how close that I've gotten to you ladies, and like I've obviously been talking with him, and I just start crying, and I'm like, who does that? Like, they're complete strangers, and now I'm like, they're like my family, and I have said before, like, you know, Patrice is like more available than my mom, and I'm like, she just treats me so well, and like just to be able to call and talk with you guys and like just get that relief and empowerment too, that in the moment where you feel some type of like something bringing you back or hindering you, and then to just be able to take that breath and be like, you know what, no, I got this, and move forward. And I think like when I remember you know, speaking with Carlos and just getting emotional, like, these people are so amazing. Not used to that type of thing, you know. Even within my family, the way you're raised and stuff like that, you're not like, I wasn't raised to like, hey, you know, I got this problem, let's all get together and talk about it, you know, because that's not what you do, you know, we all just go grab the broom and sweep it underneath the rug. So dealing with those things has just been amazing, walking through the journey, you guys walking with me through my journey. But yeah, I'm definitely very appreciative of everyone.